Hello, get your Google honors. Got a great video for you guys here, all about the many dynamic ways you can use Google Forms for assessment, for formative assessment, summative assessment, collecting data, all that kind of good stuff. So great news coming out of Google is they just updated Forms so that now you can have self-graded forms within or self-graded quizzes within Google Forms. In the past, you'd have to do an add-on extension with Flubaroo to do this, but now you can do it all within Google. To do so, you go up to the little gear button up here. I hope you guys like my nice background. To change that, you can always go here. I know this looks like it might be, create your own one, but they've got plenty of pre-selected or pre-made cool ones to do here. So we'll do a little festive one for us. But so you go up to the gear button, right? And now you got to click over here to where it says quizzes. And so you can toggle on or off if you want to make this quiz, not make this quiz. And then really cool options. Do you want to immediately grade? This is probably good for formative if you're not going to, put into the grade book, but just more of a practice thing. Down here, later you send it out after manual review. This would be for, if you're actually going to grade it, you don't want to have, let's say two kids absent in your class, and then everybody immediately gets their feedback, and then those two absent kids now can somehow get the grade or get the correct answers from their classmates. You wouldn't want to do that, so you'd only want to do this after everybody's taking it. And then also some things you can see here, options as to what kind of feedback and evidence or what kind of information you want to give to those students, which is really cool update here for Google to make this all in-house. Now, granted, I haven't been able to do this with students yet, so I don't know what it looks like on the back end after they've taken some of these quizzes, what the spreadsheet looks like or how the data plays out, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty handy. So what you would do is you're just going to make a multiple choice question, right? So you would just type it up, you'd give your answers, and then you would give or you can go through and give some feedback. So now let's say I want to figure out, all right, what's my correct answer? You can then click as many correct answers as you want. Obviously, we'll pick 1776 here. If you want to give some feedback, this is really cool. This is something that Flubaroo was never able to do. So let's say you want to, type something in so the students know, oh, now I know why that one's not right. You can then type in specific stuff as to, oh, duh, here's why I picked 1999, silly me. But you can also, give something for correct answers, explain why it's correct, especially with something challenging, or you can just, congratulate kids, which would be pretty nice too. All right, so you can click save. Now, if you want to add other questions, then all you got to do is just click add question. It pretty much, I think, only works with multiple choice or check boxes. I don't think you can do self-grading quizzes for anything else otherwise, but then you would just type whatever questions and then keep adding options as you go through there, and then it lets you do your answer key, which is pretty neat. So now, granted, I've never done that with students, obviously, but here's something I have done with students. Here's just a sample quiz that I made for kids. Identify any ideology, something we do in government class. So I made it level 1, level 2. Here's what it looks like on the kids' view, where they've got to put their stuff in. For Flubaroo, you do need to have them insert their Gmail address. That way, it can email the grades back to them. But pretty simple quiz. Here's a statement. The kids have to identify if it's a little more conservative. This is something that they do in that first unit. This is what the normal spreadsheet was going to look like that Google Forms makes up. But then Flubaroo, they scripted it where once the students complete it, it gives me this kind of data. So up here, it kind of gives me totality of everything that's done. But then down here, I can look at specific students, like how did Trevor do? Oh, he got 10 out of 10. Awesome. I scroll down, I see some names in red. Okay, here's a couple students that didn't do so hot. I can also look at specific questions as well. Right. So now I can look at, all right, almost all the kids got this one right. Everybody almost got this one. Oh, here, this is a question that people really struggled with. Okay, let's go back and we can do some reteaching there. So this is Flubaroo. I will put in the classroom stream links to both Flubaroo and then the new Google Forms, so you guys can play around with whichever one works best. But I'm really excited about the new options for Google. Okay, something else I want to show you guys too is that don't necessarily think about Google Forms only as a survey tool or as a quiz tool. Think of it as a way to populate a spreadsheet. One of my classes for AP US History is they have to handwrite their assignments because on the big test at the end of the year, they have to handwrite it for College Board. And so this way, unfortunately, I can't use Gubrick. I can't use turnin.com. I've got to grade their handwritten stuff, but I still want to collect data as to how they're doing. So what I did is just made a quick little multiple choice sheet where I put all the kids in my class on there, assessment, then I use the grid sheet to make my rubric and all that kind of stuff. So then this is what it looks like. So let's say I'm grading Vanessa's test. I'll just click her button. All right, it's Unit 1 Revolution. I'll go through and I'll put her score in, and then I'll put the score there. All right, the neat thing about this is how it spits out is it gives me one of these spreadsheets again. So now if I want to check out specific students, I can now organize them and I see how has Vanessa done over time. I can use this information. I can pull up graphs. I can do means, averages, modes, all that kind of good stuff. Let's say I want to look instead not just at a specific student, but I want to look at how did the class do on a specific test. Now I can pull up their final, with how the kids did here and look at just this data. I can look at specific, rubric scores, and that's the great thing about having it on an online or a digital spreadsheet is that you can look at different pieces of data in different ways. A couple other forms that I wanted to show off to you guys too is these come from, I didn't create these. This first one comes from Kelly Geiselman. She's a social studies teacher at North, and this is something she put together to help her students with a DBQ essay writing process. DBQ is document-based question. And so she would just have kids click, all right, what step are you working on? What do you need help with? And so maybe I just need to get started, right? So I'll click that, I'll click continue. And then voila, what Kelly did is she attached a YouTube video that she had found, and then she also put some pictures of student work in here. Okay, so now I know how to do this step. Cool, I'm feeling a little bit more confident, all right? What do I need to do now? All right, I know how to do this, I know how to do this. All right, let's write my thesis. I need help with that. All right, so I'll click that. I'll go down here. All right, cool, another YouTube video. All right, another student sample. Okay, now I'm getting a sense of how things do. You can put pictures of the rubric in here, all that kind of good stuff. Here's one that's a little bit more math-based. This comes from Brett Wickrack at St. Charles North, and he kind of made some practice stuff for his students where, all right, here's your equation. You got to solve it, and then since I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm going to take a guess. 10, 26. Let's see how I did. All right, doesn't look like I got it right because now I'm getting some reteaching stuff. And so based on how you did, Brett sent me to a specific page or a specific part of the form based on what I answered. And so I got a video here based on, okay, I made this mistake, probably sent, so he's going to give me this video. Notice now 10, 26 isn't an option. He took that off for me. So let's guess again. Let's see if it's 1, 3. Okay, it doesn't look like I did it. All right. Now, how you do this is, so here we're back to our practice form. After your, so what we're going to do down here is I built, added a new section. That's this button down here, which is add section. And so what this is what part of the project you're working on, step 1, step 2, step 3. So this is kind of like what Kelly's would do. All right. What I did from here, all right, I added another section, and then step 3, step 1. So now let's say I'm working on step 3. Maybe this is the writing the thesis stuff. If I want to, I can add a YouTube video. I can add pictures. I can add text. I can even add other questions. This is kind of what Brett did is after you answered a specific way, all right, add another question, try it again. Now how you get it to jump from page to page is there's this down with these 3 little buttons down here. You can click go to section based on answer. And so, all right, what part of the project am I working on? I'm working on step 1, or step 3, my thesis. Now I'm going to just jump down to section 3, step 3. And then this way, whenever a student, clicks that, it'll take them to the proper spot. And that's kind of how they manipulated Google Forms to jump from spot to spot based on how kids answered. It's almost like a high-tech a high-tech choose your own adventure where the way you select something, it takes you to a given page or given spot. So that would be how you do it down here. And then, yeah, obviously there's a lot of different options on how you can then make that look and what options you can do. So it might be some practice questions. It might be some, flipping the classroom, right? This is just kind of what Kelly, this is a way to flip the classroom to get kids specific videos. It's a genius idea, and I wish I had thought of it, frankly. So hope you guys like this. Hope you got some good ideas as to how you can use Google Forms to help you out. And when it comes to formative assessment, summative assessment, and anything and everything in between. All right. Have a good one.